Watch out. A simple woman took the shot aimed at a hell angel, then every bully's power collapsed. The sound of heavy bikes ripped through the still night like thunder. The Hell Angels, the most feared biker gang in the county, roared into the small town of Cedar Hollow. Everyone froze when they came. Shopkeepers pulled shutters down, parents rushed kids inside, and even the sheriff looked the other way. No one dared cross them. No one, except a quiet woman who everyone thought was invisible. Her name was Grace Miller. 42 years old, widowed, and living alone in a small wooden house by the edge of town. She worked at the diner, pouring coffee for truckers and cleaning tables while keeping her head down. People barely noticed her. But Grace had eyes that had seen more than she ever spoke about, eyes that had once watched her husband fall in war, eyes that had cried for a son she'd lost to a drunk driver who was never punished, because the man was a hell angel. So when the gang returned, louder and more arrogant than ever, Grace felt the ache of years of silence burning inside her. That night, the gang filled the diner, laughing and smashing bottles. Their leader, Rex, the Viper, Dalton, slammed his fist on the counter, pointing at a young waitress who had accidentally spilled coffee on his boots. "You know who I am," he snarled, pulling her by the arm. The diner went silent. No one moved. No one even breathed. Except Grace. She stepped forward slowly, wiping her hands on her apron. "Let her go," she said quietly. The gang burst into laughter. "What are you gonna do, Grandma?" Rex mocked, shoving the girl to the floor. "You better step back before I—" Grace's voice cut him off. "Calm, steady, like a storm waiting to break. Before you what? Hurt another innocent person because you think fear makes you powerful." Rex's smile vanished. He drew his gun and aimed it at Grace's chest. "You talk too much, lady." The entire diner froze. The young waitress whimpered. The sheriff's car outside didn't move. Everyone thought they were about to watch a murder. But what happened next no one could ever forget. A single shot echoed through the diner. But it wasn't Rex's bullet that flew, it was Grace's. The small, hidden pistol she carried under her apron since her husband's death found its mark. The bullet hit Rex's shoulder, sending him crashing to the floor. Chaos exploded, his men rushed toward her, but Grace stood tall, eyes locked on them, steady hands gripping the weapon. "Sit down," she ordered. And something in her voice, something unshakable, made them obey. The police finally stormed in after years of pretending not to see. News spread like wildfire. The woman who no one noticed, who everyone thought was weak, had stood up to the most feared man in the region. The town's silence shattered that night. But the real story began after the shot. When Grace walked out of that diner in handcuffs, every camera turned to her. The world suddenly saw the truth, a woman tired of injustice, tired of bullies being kings. She wasn't proud of what she did. Her hands trembled when she spoke to reporters. "I didn't want to shoot him," she said. "I wanted to stop what everyone else was too afraid to stop." In the weeks that followed, something incredible happened. People who had been silent for years began to speak. Testimonies poured in. Victims of the Hell Angels came forward. Old cases reopened. One by one, the gang's power collapsed. Their empire of fear crumbled because one quiet woman dared to say, "Enough." When Rex woke up in the hospital, handcuffed to the bed, his words shocked even his own men. That woman, she wasn't scared. The story of Grace Miller spread across the country. Veterans wrote letters. Mothers cried. Watching her interviews, the diner became a symbol of courage. Grace was eventually cleared of major charges, self-defense, the court ruled. But even if she hadn't been, she had already won something greater. She had broken the spell of fear that ruled Cedar Hollow. Months later, she returned to the diner. The same waitress who once trembled now stood proudly beside her, managing the place. A sign on the counter read, "Never mistake silence for weakness. Sometimes, it's the storm preparing to speak." Grace smiled, pouring coffee again. Life had scars, yes. But it also had redemption. And somewhere, someone watching her story on YouTube right now might just feel that spark. The courage to stand up when the world says, "Stay down." So if you believe that even one person's voice can stop the cycle of fear, right finger hit that like button. Share Grace's story. And subscribe for more tales that remind us, even the quietest heart can shake the loudest monsters.